G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the southeast side of the map, we have the Viper. And he is going to be playing the French for us today. Fitzbro, tell me who's playing on the north side of the map.
Up in the north, we've got Linok playing as the Chinese. The map we have here is Lipany, and you see he's already built his mill and has his Imperial official coming out to supervise and surely to collect some gold here in the near future.
Indeed. Now, Fitz, this is part of the EGC Winter Series, I think it's called. I think I said Summer Series earlier today. Now, obviously, I'm in Australia. I'm heading into summer. But you guys up there, you guys are heading into winter. So this is part of that series, and in the description on this video, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to leave a link over to the Discord server for EGC TV. So make sure if you're interested in seeing more of this competitive Age of Empires 4 content, you go and check that one out. Let's take a look over towards Viper's base. So he's going to be adding in a gold mine. No real surprise there. He's playing the French. So there's not really too much versatility that they can do, or variability rather, in the early game. He has added a second scout though. That is one thing to note.
Have you seen the like bug where the scout will kind of like float across the earth? I just watched Linok's scout float for like 10 feet.
I have seen that, yes. It looks very, very weird. There was a game that I watched earlier where the Khan was moonwalking. And I feel like it's more of a feature rather than a bug at this point. Like, I am, yeah. I'm excited by it when I see it.
When you were doing the red Mongols, now I can't unsee him looking like Santa Claus running around there.
Yeah, the Mongol Khan does look quite interesting. But let's have a look over at Linok. So for anybody unfamiliar with Linok, I always like to introduce him as, or talk a little bit anecdotally about my experience with Linok, because I go way back with this guy. So I'll give you guys some insight. So it's 2021 right now. I was first introduced to Linok in 2010 when he was playing StarCraft 2. So the very first time I watched him play, I was on Phillip Island. I was actually at the MotoGP. Would you believe that? Fitzbro, we were at the MotoGP, and we'd just been out for qualifying. We were watching the Formula One cars, or actually, sorry, the motorbikes go around on the circuit, and we were headed home, and the GSL was on, the GOM StarCraft League, and none other than Linok was playing, and he was 15 years old at the time, very young, but yeah, now 11 years later, we get to watch him playing Age of Empires 4 up against the greatest of all time, the Viper.
Yeah, I heard you mention GSL earlier. That's a word I haven't heard in a while, but I too followed a lot of StarCraft back in those days. I didn't know what you're talking about with that Moto stuff. I was like, I don't know what some of these words are, but I think I understand now.
Yeah, the MotoGP, yes. Motorbikes riding around in a circle. It's great. I mean, it's a beautiful place down there, Phillip Island. If you ever come to Australia, I encourage you to head down there. It's one of the most picturesque places on Earth. Got these cute little penguins. But yeah, let's talk more about the game that we've got going on. So Viper's already clicked up. He's got the School of Cavalry up as well. 3 villages on gold. That to me kind of says he doesn't want to do professional scouts, but he does already have the mill out. No wheelbarrow research just yet, but the mill being out with no wheelbarrow kind of says he does want to do professional scouts. Who knows? We'll have to watch, we'll have to wait, we'll have to see. But he's got double scout out already, so it kind of makes sense for him to do it.
I'm looking at the map here. Doesn't this map sometimes have these cliffs kind of in the middle? I noticed the only cliff seems to be in the bottom left of Viper's base here.
Yeah, it can be a little bit random. Sometimes you do get like middle cliff spawns. Sometimes you get like just the random cliff that spawns down towards one area. And I think that's essentially what's happened here. And sometimes you can get really weird spawns where players spawn very close to each other. But fortunately in this game, I mean, fortunately for Linok, his opponent has spawned quite far away from him.
Yeah. So I see that he did drop down a mining camp there in transition. Did Linok gather any gold from that mining camp, or did he just build that right before he built his Barbican? I wasn't sure if he got all that gold from the Imperial official. Yeah,
it looks like he's got 40 gold from the Imperial official, and the rest of it he was mining from the mining camp. But he's got a whole bunch of it during the transition as well. I think it looks like he's got 60 so far, but yeah. He's obviously reached the next age. He's gone for a stone outcropping mining camp already. And that's, back in my day when I was playing against France, that was a dangerous game to play, Fitz. Going for a double town center against French, oh my lord, yeah, I mean, you can basically type GG into the game, but obviously the meta has changed significantly since then, so now we're all about professional scouts, and you can see Viper researching professional scouts, School of Cavalry, it's on scouts, he's not worried about knights at this point, so I think a second town center here probably isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, you do see the scouts coming out from the School of Cavalry. I think you're exactly right. I think where the Royal Knights might have been coming out in such the meta before, that is now they're a lot more scared of spearmen being a little more dangerous as long as you're not playing any of the berry gathering civilizations. But
I like that
I'm
it's
still
only the
quite
berry
afraid
gathering
of-
civs. It's like, you know,
I'm still quite afraid of French Knights personally with the Daily Salt of it. But
yes.
yes, he is going out. Looks like going to be doing professional scouts. And Leonok does have at least one spear out already, training another one. So probably going to go see what's going on. And I can't imagine making too many spears here.
Now, Viper is known as a greedy player. And, you know, one of the things that he does is spear slicing up that Royal Knight. Really, that right there is why French has, like, in my opinion, fallen down a level in the tier list. Just because of that little interaction that we saw right there. You attack, move your spear, and it's always going to cancel the charge from the Royal Knight. Always. And that's what makes it so strong now. But Viper, notoriously greedy. In addition to going for professional scouts, going straight into survival techniques on his mill. So looking to buff that one up. Also going to be dropping down an archery range here. So potentially looking to play H2. Not looking to do a sort of fast castle or anything like that. Semi-fast castle, but curious decision so far.
I mean, does French really want to be playing super late game China? I know, like, personally, I do not try to pick fights with late game China unless I have to, and perhaps we'll do a strong push here, or maybe that's just, yeah, he is throwing down a archer range. It does seem like he's going to maybe play some H2 here.
Yeah, I think that's probably a wise choice, especially considering that Leonok has gone for that second town center. So up on his hunt, he's dropped that one down relatively safely. The one thing to note, couple of knights heading in towards the base right now of Leonok. Viper going to be picking up just a couple of hits from the town center, it seems. But Viper yet to spot out that town center up towards the north. It looks like he's going to be heading up in that direction now. Actually done a little bit of a roundabout. 3 knights now coming out for him. But yeah, archery range going down. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see the blacksmith. There it comes down. And a siege engineering coming through very shortly as well. For him, and looking to potentially punish that if he spots it. That's going to be the big thing, spotting that.
Well, and with China not going for their dynasty yet, they're not going to have those archers to be able to contest maybe some kind of ram push here, because it's brutal. You run into those Jugunu if you're trying to do a ram push, because they will melt you.
Yeah, I've actually watched quite a few games from Leonok. There was one that I watched recently from him on King of the Hill, and he actually did go, I think he was playing against Rus, and he just went into the dynasty going for the Choku Nu. So let's see if he actually manages to do that in this game.
Yeah.
You can see he's having a bit of a tough time with this forward mill on the berries. He's been sent idle multiple times now because of it. So going to be idle once again here, and now Viper actually going to be applying pressure to the front. So treating this a little bit like you would a contusion, I think is the right term. But yeah, applying pressure to the front. We've got spears going to be coming out for him. Stable coming out at the back as well for Leonok.
Yeah, I was trying to see where Leonok would be gathering food. He does have at least that hunt down by that second town center. So yeah, pushed off those berries for now. I know you've played a lot of China. What do you prefer? You see this double town center opening versus, I guess, going for the dynasty and getting that archer train time. What's your preference?
Definitely the fast dynasty, in my opinion, is the way to go. It just makes it a lot safer. In my opinion, and you still sort of you're in this middle ground where your villagers are training faster, and it gives you the sort of the safety of having the Choku Nu there as well, because in this position you can see he's obviously going up against Royal Knights and archers. Well, he can just go +1 from the blacksmith and Choku Nu in here, and he can completely repel this. He'd be doing so much damage to these units, and there wouldn't be a lot the Viper could do to respond to that other than going up into the third age.
I kind of feel like Leonok was not expecting this. He didn't see that early pressure, I guess, because he was going for the professional scouts, but Viper really putting on, it looks like going to take down that barracks, which he's going to need that barracks if he's going to test these knights. I know he's making some horsemen on the back line, but as this archer mass grows and he continues to train more Royal Knights, I'm sure Rams will be coming in here in the very near future. I guess he does not research siege engineering. So
yeah,
I guess not for now.
Not yet, at least not for the next 1 minute, it seems. But yeah, wheelbarrow going to get completed for Viper. So Viper really behind this, focusing on his economy. And I think that kind of plays into Leonok's hands, because, Viper with 1 town center focusing on his economy is going to get outmatched by 2 town centers from Leonok. But now Viper going to be looking to actually chase away some of those horsemen. They were looking to pick up potential incoming reinforcements. But yeah, Viper having a pretty decent time at the moment. Going to be heading up for the first time towards this north position. He's going to spot out the town center from his opponent right now, and he's going to go, oh my lord, there's a town center up there, and there's farms underneath it. Oh geez, I am late to this party.
Wow. Yeah, I just assumed he had seen that already, but yeah, you gotta assume it's there or something. I don't know. Maybe he just had no idea.
Yeah, I think it just came down to, obviously he was going professional scouts. He was looking to get his own hunts in first, and then he was focusing on his enemy's hunts, and obviously that's where his attention was going to head to. But yeah, unfortunately, only spotting that one now. Got the Knights heading underneath that town center. They're going to have to fall back. And we'll take a look over towards Viper and see whether he's getting that Siege Engineering. And there it is, coming in right now, Siege Engineering. So that is going to be the appropriate response to his opponent's second town center. So we can expect to see that battering ram going to be rolling in within the next 60 seconds, I would say, Fitz.
He is also dropping down his second stable, so yeah, I think we're going to see double Royal Knight production with these archers. And as they do this ram push, if I am correct on this, I do believe that the capital town center is able to retarget now, but the additional town center is not able to. Is that correct?
Oh, really? Okay, I wasn't aware of that. I knew that the capital is definitely able to do it, and I did think that the secondary ones could, but I wasn't 100% sure. Is it able to?
I might be wrong. I might have read that somewhere. That's what I was clarifying.
Yeah, we'll have to pay attention. We'll have to wait and see. It did look like there may have been a potential battering ram going down in the center there, but I think that Viper's cancelled it. He's going to be looking to position it up more towards that second town center. We can see his units beginning to loop around towards that northern position. A lot of line of sight on the mini-map for Viper at the moment. He's managed to clean up that secondary hunt for his opponent at the moment, but looks like he's probably going to be dropping down that battering ram any second now.
Yeah, I do see chat, I guess, has confirmed that second town center isn't able to retarget. And the only reason I mention that is when you're targeting a ram push like this, you know, what made the ram push was so strong is you couldn't target any of the other units once they locked onto the ram, and he can target that second town center with those rams. Yeah,
Viper having a bit of a tough time now, though. He was putting down these rams and unfortunately got caught with his pants down, so now the horsemen going to be coming in, looking to get connections on that back line. Spears on the front line doing a pretty decent job here as well. Going to be able to clean up the majority of this attack before it even manages to come to any form of fruition. And Leenock looking incredibly strong, really taking it to the French player at this point in time, Fitz.
A little bit of a risky position to build your battering rams, and one thing to note is you can hear, as your opponent, you can hear those rams starts being built. I'm not sure what the exact distance is on it, but being that close, like he probably went off like a beacon that he was building a ram there, which Leenock know exactly where to attack. You know, perhaps if he had been able to kite a little bit, target down a few spearmen, that could have been a better engagement. But being kind of ran up on like that, Viper just lost. I mean, that's a lot of res worth of Royal Knights. Versus relatively cheap units here in these spear and horsemen, although horsemen aren't necessarily cheap.
Yeah, about half the cost of the Royal Knights, but yeah, a huge... Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me there is the sway in tempo. So Leenock has bought himself time. And obviously Leenock, having the second town center, he's going to need time. And so the fact that he's been able to buy it puts him in an incredible position right now.
Do you think he'll try to go for the dynasty now, maybe?
That is always an option, but I feel like at this point, he's kind of overextending. This is a bit of a mistake by him. Ideally, he'd like to keep his mass alive. Fortunately, Viper actually falls back for him and doesn't punish him. So Viper could have crushed that quite easily, but allows Leenock a chance to survive another day, it seems. But
I noticed Viper is not training any more Royal Knights, so I wonder if he's trying to age up now. He's got his 2 town centers going, but no Royal Knights in queue right now.
Yeah, it would seem like both players probably want to just fall back and look to age up, and that's probably going to put China at quite an advantage as well. Obviously, the longer the game goes on, the more likely that China is going to be victorious. As you mentioned earlier, you don't want to pick a fight with China's late game, but we'll do a quick stock take here. So Viper's sitting at 55 villages. When it comes to his upgrades, he's got no mining upgrade, no woodcutting upgrades. He's got 3 of those food upgrades, including wheelbarrow. He's got professional scouts. He's got survival techniques, but no horticulture just yet. We'll take a look over at Leenock and have a look what upgrades he's got. So he has got wheelbarrow as well as horticulture, the first level of food. When it comes to his wood chopping upgrades, he's got nothing in there, and he's got specialized pick, which is the first level of economic upgrades, but he's only on 53 vils. So I'd say at the moment, the economies are pretty even. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I was while you mentioned that, I was looking out on the map here and just taking a look at these two sacred sites down to the bottom left. A very interesting spawn, very close together.
Yeah, going to be great for a couple castles to come in between those two a little bit later in the game, I suspect.
Yeah, I've got that deli vision, always looking at the sacred sites.
But now Leenock looking to do a little bit of a run by down towards the south here, outside Viper's base. Leenock reaching the next stage as well. Viper reaching the next stage within a second of each other, ladies and gentlemen. They are absolutely on par for the course at the moment. Viper going up with that guild hall. Leenock going up with the astronomical clock tower. No surprises there. And Viper doing a little bit of a raid at the same time. I love how both players are raiding at the same time. Both players aging up at the same time. It's just really, you know, like they are. I mean, Leenock is rank 40. Viper is currently rank 46 on the ladder. Like, these guys are pretty damn evenly matched.
Yeah. What really sets apart like the upper part of the ladder is it's like these little raids of like 2 horses here, 2 horses here. I'm just running in, and of course those Royal Knights, they're not even scared of arrows for the most part when they run into your base.
Yeah, they definitely aren't, especially with that +1 upgrade that he's got. So I guess the question is, from here, what do players look to do? So Viper, he's beginning to build up line of sight. So we see him placing down 2 outposts, one to the north of his base, another one to the west of his base. Behind this, take a look at the upgrades that have just come in for him. Specialized pick, horticulture, double broad axe, all coming in at the exact same time. Also behind that, I think he got the Cantled Saddles upgrade as well for his Royal Knight, so going to be able to extend out the damage on the charge there. Veteran upgrades also coming through, so Viper really going ham on all of those upgrades. I love this playstyle from him, where he ages up and then bam, straight into the upgrades. Beautiful
Looks like he's going for the Imperial Palace right now. Right there at the northern part of Leenock's base.
Oh my lord, he is too. This might be a potential. I think he was trying to hide it as well. Normally you want.
Oh, but they sees it. Look at it.
Yeah. So normally you want to put this towards the center of your base, or even towards the front, just because of the line of sight that it provides. It's like an outpost on steroids. It's like, imagine like an outpost with a 300% line of sight buff. Like, that's what it works out to be. But he's gone for it right at the back, which to me indicates that he was trying to hide it. And Viper obviously spots it out while it's in transition. This is a really good pickup, Fitz. I'm glad that you spotted this, because this to me says Fire Lancers. I don't know about you.
Yeah, so he went for that H3 Dynasty. It's curious when it lets you see it and when the Dynasty options when they're not. But that H3 Dynasty, that unlocks the ability to train those Fire Lancers, correct?
That's correct, yeah. So because he's made the 2 landmarks, the first one, the Astronomical Clock Tower, as well as the Imperial Palace, that's going to give him access to those Fire Lancers. We'll also give him access to other unique things like the Granary. But I will just note that he never actually entered into the First Dynasty, so never went into the Song Dynasty. He just went straight into the Yuan Dynasty. So, curious decision, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how he's going to be able to capitalize on this. And now we see the first Fire Lancers beginning to come out. And we'll have a look.
Viper's moving out right inside that second town center with a lot of archers and Royal Knights.
Yeah, that's quite a huge amount. Fire Lancers are going to absolutely shred through this, though. I'm a little bit concerned now for Viper because, I mean, he's got this is a good composition, but the thing is, Fire Lancers destroy everything.
I saw your Fire Lancer situation earlier.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. I mean, I thought I played the perfect game as Rus into China, and then there were Fire Lancers, and that was it. So, yeah, you got to be very careful. Nesta B is going to begin firing off now.
You're on Discord all of a sudden.
We've got the Oh, you there? You there, Fitz? I don't know where Fitz is. I can hear Fitz. I don't think he can hear me. All right, Fitz, I hope that you're still there. I'm not sure if you're there, Fitz, but if you can hear me, you come back in whenever you're ready. Actually, I'm going to just quickly check. Oh, it still says I'm connected. Discord audio has cut out. That's weird. I wonder why that is. Can't hear? Can you guys hear me? F. I think it's an F for Fitz, but it's not an F for me. All right, Fitz. Well, we'll carry on, Fitz, but don't worry. We'll have you back very shortly, I'm sure. But Nesta B is now going to be popping off towards the back line. We see the Fire Lancers doing a great job of just cleaning this one up, poking it. We've got a keep going to begin coming down as well here and looking to secure up this position even further for Leenock. So he's looking to expand down towards this southern position. And the Fire Lancers are looking pretty decent. He's got to be careful, though. Now beginning to expand out. You see that the formation has been entered. Fire Lancers coming in. We've got the Nest of Bees beginning to fire in on the back line as well. In a beautiful position here for Leenock as he manages to come out onto the front line. Veteran Spears also going to be coming in and chasing away the enemy position. 10 villagers entering inside that castle and keeping this position alive now for Leenock. And I tell you what, guys, Leenock is looking incredible. Oh, Fitz, I hear you. You there?
Evan, Discord gave me the whole runaround. That's never happened before.
Well, welcome back. Someone in Twitch chat said the same thing was happening to them today. So who knows? Maybe it could be a Discord issue. Yes, but I'm not sure if you saw that fight, but Leenock is holding on quite strongly at the moment. He is looking very strong. So 80 villager population for Leenock. Compare that to Viper. He's sitting on 93. I mean, the longer the game goes on, the happier China is as a player. But Viper actually stonewalling the front of his base.
Yeah, I was about to say, I really like this move from Viper. I think people forget about their stone walls like in these little situations like this, but I think the primary reason he's going for this is Fire Lancers.
Yep.
You never know when those things are just going to run in and pop a few buildings, and they are unfortunately not able to do that, or maybe fortunately, to stone wall. So this will buy him a little bit of space, though. He's blocking any continuance of that wall with that barracks he just built, I guess.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of room here. He can potentially add more in, but I got to say, I love this from Viper. It's so smart to be going this route, obviously recognizing the threat that the Fire Lancers do potentially pose. Leenock now almost heading in towards that castle, but not going to actually spot it out. Now, one thing to note is Viper's actually dropping down a third town center. So he's sitting on 100 villagers. And he's like, I'll make more. It's fine. But now that town center up towards the north, Viper going to be cleaning up a few villagers on the outside. Those villagers looking to try and escape. They've got that extra movement speed. Going to be running basically as fast as the Royal Knights are themselves. Take a look at that villager. He's got some absolute feet on him. Managing to escape and make it all the way to the tower. He's got to get the Imperial Official out of there as well. Imperial Official got 1.29 movement speed. Not nearly enough, but raids happening all over the map. It looks like we've got Royal Knights up towards the north. Royal Knights heading towards the west of Leenock's base. Is Viper trying his best to keep himself alive in this game?
Some archers got cleaned up by Fire Lancers in the middle there, and I bet that outpost is about to go down. Have you noticed, am I crazy? I swear my archers sometimes, or my villagers sometimes run faster when they're going to get garrison, or is that just an illusion?
I have not noticed that. There is like a little bit of a pull trick that you can do with them, but yeah. With the Yuan dynasty for China, it just makes them so much stronger. But I'm watching right now, Viper actually playing with fire, or Fire Lancers rather, just outside this castle here. He's got to be careful, because if these guys turn around, they could absolutely blow these units up. So Leenock is playing very, very carefully there. But Viper now going to be sitting on 113 villagers. We'll check in on Leenock, see where he's at. He's on 83. So Viper really starting to pull ahead when it comes to the villager count and demonstrating sort of as the more greedy player just how strong he is. But now we've got Leenock finding himself in a little bit of a difficult spot. Raids happening in his base, forcing him to be idled. Probably needs to do the same thing that Viper did and drop down some walls. But Leenock hitting the fourth age Fits.
I've seen a lot of French players do this thing where they'll just park like 4 knights up in the corner, and the second you start to push at all, they come down and raid your farms, and you go back, and then they're just always leaving like a few here or there, and you gotta chase them down, and Spearman unfortunately just won't catch them.
Yeah, I can like right now outside Leenock's base, Viper's just got 2 knights parked in a tree line, just sitting there. They're in a really, really annoying spot. Like you can barely spot them. There's like just a tiny little bit of line of sight that they've got, but that's exactly what you're talking about. You know, as soon as the push comes out, it's going to be the same thing. Viper now going to be dropping down his landmark, so going for the College of Artillery, deleting a lumber camp so that he can drop it down. But those French Royal Knights towards the north did actually get spotted out. But yeah, I'd love to see some walls coming down from Leenock. Even just some palisades just across the north of the map would help him out so much.
He could even go for that Great Wall of China, though. We don't see that very often.
Yeah, it's very rare to actually see China go for those big walls anymore. But Fire Lancers now finally coming out, and got to be careful here because the spears are moving across the map. Do we have Elite Fire Lancer coming in just yet? Let's have a look. It looks like it's almost coming in. Reload Drill's also coming in. Going to be firing off. Viper now reaching the Imperial Age. Nest of Bees getting off a pretty decent volley over towards the left of the base, and now up towards the north. That town center going to be going down. At least there's a couple of spears back there, and we've got some spear on spear action towards the middle here. It's going to be quite a long fight. I don't know about you, but they kind of remind me of the pikemen from AoE 3. They just hit each other slowly but steadily. This is basically like a wet noodle battle.
Yeah, you never knew he was going to win that. Now, what do you think is the best counter the French has for these Fire Lancers? Is it the Spearman? I see people talk about it canceling the charge. I'm always a little bit perplexed when I see these Fire Lancers come in and just destroy everything.
Yeah, I definitely think that spears are part of the right decision, but I think just going for mass artillery is always going to be the best way to do it. Going for, you know, a mangonel mass is a really smart choice against it. But
yeah,
Leenock getting run around significantly at the moment. So he managed to clean up a whole bunch of spears on the front line, but there's more spears running into his base, and he's spending a lot of time idle at the moment. He's on 91 villages, but compare that over to Viper right now, who currently sits on 126. He's up about 37 villages, and that's a huge amount of villages once you get into this late game. So Viper's up a significant amount. You can take a look at the economy as well. Viper up about 1,000 food a minute right now, so he is significantly ahead of his opponent.
Those clock tower nest of bees just clocked like 10 to 15 spears as they ran past the town center.
Oh, really? Yeah, I saw them as they were coming in. They got them as well, but yeah, they are incredible. Bombard now coming out, going to be one-shotting that knight. See you later, mate. Second one goes down as well. The bombards are out, and now Leenock is in the zone. Like, this is where it starts to get scary for Viper, because, I mean, Viper is still ahead on the villager count. He's looking good, but at the same time, like, Leenock, this is where he wants to be. He's got Fire Lancers, he's got Nest of Bees, he's got Clock Tower Bombards. The only thing he really needs are walls. Like, Leenock, I actually casted a game Leenock played, I think earlier in the week, and like the main theme throughout the game was like, please Leenock make walls, and he just wasn't making walls. And like I suspect this might be the exact same thing down towards the south, though, in between those sacred sites that we mentioned earlier. Castle going to be going down for Leenock. He's also going to be securing up a gold vein there. A Monk from Viper, where is it heading? It's just heading up towards the north.
I think maybe he was trying to hide that thing after he grabbed that sacred site, but yeah, now that keep is coming down, and it looks like Leenock's going to be grabbing those 2 sacred sites back and securing that gold up there with that keep. But the same things happen mirrored on the other side. Viper is building a keep and going after that large gold vein, so they're kind of doing the same thing. It's like they're it's like they trained with each other or something.
Yeah, this game really is like a mirror match, isn't it? You know, throughout the game, you know, you remember they both aged up at the same time. They were both raiding each other at the same time. You know,
there was one knight in the farm at the top north. He finally caught it, but that one knight was just wrecking villagers.
Yeah, you can see it's still up there, burning down the mills, and now going to be heading up there. But one of the things to note is that these Fire Lancers are almost fully upgraded. So Leenock's got the biology upgrade for these, so it's the 20% health. Yeah. He's also getting, at the moment, Ancient Techniques, which is going to be buffing up his gather rate even further. But he's yet to grab the +3 upgrades for these units. Actually, we can take a look and see what he's got on the way. Yeah, no +3 upgrades just yet for them. But yeah, pretty significant mass here beginning to build for Leenock, though.
Now, is this score a useful metric to look at here? As you know, we see Viper's about 700 ahead right now, as Leenock just pops a bunch of units. So they must be pretty close, at least according to the score.
Yeah, I would say that that's probably the best indication of whether it's close or not. If you see one player ahead by 2,000 or 3,000, then you can probably assume that they're ahead by a mile. But I think you know,
there's a Leenock wall up north, stopping some cav.
Oh, that's wonderful to see. Segment. Finally, the walls are going to be coming down. Leenock has learned his lesson, and yeah, now a bit of a raid heading in towards the base of Leenock as well. Viper looking to move a few horsemen through here, going to be able to pick them off, and those charges do come out, manage to actually take it down. And geez, I don't know if you've ever watched rugby, Fitz, bro, but these Fire Lancers, when they hit, it looks like rugby. Like, just the way that they hit the enemies, they come in with these giant lances, they just absolutely shred them. But take a look up towards the north. Leenock Town Center going to be going down potentially. Oh my lord, you see the damage down on that ram? Holy dooly. Yeah. The thing just got one shot.
Down they go.
Yeah, plenty of archers now looking to try and build up on this backline as well. All of the Fire Lancers going to be going down towards these spearmen, and I think this town center is going to be not too long for the world. He's sitting on 97 villages at the moment, so it's not like he's got a huge amount of villages that he wants to actually train from it. But at the same time, Viper doing the runaround to Leenock down towards the south. Going to be losing this town center. The battering ram going to be taking it down. It's slow but steady. He might be able to pull a few villages. Unfortunately, it does tick down and goes down to 0. That's going to be an expensive loss there for Leenock. He will be able to replace it almost immediately with the villagers, but it's going to take time to build that bad boy up.
Yeah, I'm looking at the villager count right now. Viper's sitting at 130 while Leenock is about 99, and I think Viper's just very, very persistent raiding is what's caused this.
Yeah, this is a massive factor. So it all just comes down to not walling, I think. If Leenock had walled, 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, he would be so far ahead. He'd just be able to play his game because he's able to deal with any of the raids. He's making cavalry as well, so it's important to remember if his enemy is sieging a certain part of his wall, he can just go and meet them. But now we've got the Bombard out, going to be one-shotting some of those elite horsemen. But I'm curious to see Viper's base and have a look at the infrastructure that he's got back there. It's actually huge how much stuff he's got. He's got 24 military production buildings at the moment. So that's 5 archery ranges, 5 stables, 8 barracks, 3 siege workshops. He's got that school of cavalry in there, the College of Artillery, and of course, a monastery to round out the composition.
I just had one of those classic Age of Empires casted game crashes, but I'm here with you in spirit.
All right, well, hopefully the stream's not too far behind. But look, I hope that that's not a sign of things to come. Viper going to be trying his best to defend this position, and Leenock looking incredibly strong. The Bombards continuing to push down towards the base of Viper. Plenty of Fire Lancers coming out as well, and now looking to try and commit here. We've got the Springles that are actually coming out for Viper as well. He's looking to get onto the front line. Those guys do have their range upgrade here. Leenock does have his Pyrotechnic upgrade, so both players going to be doing a pretty decent job. We'll make sure that we enter into the cinematic mode as now the Fire Lancers are fighting off with the spears on the back line. The Horsemen beginning to run out towards those Bombards. Unfortunately, it looks like every single Springald has gone down with the exception of 2, but they are getting sieged down by the Fire Lancers. There's absolute madness everywhere as the Fire Lancers are overwhelming the army of Viper. He's looking like he might be in a bit of a difficult spot as the Bombard continues to clean up the rest of the siege, and the archers are slowly pushing in. We've got reinforcing outposts coming in here for Leenock as well. We take a look at the upgrades that he's getting. He's getting Springald emplacements on these bad boys. He's managed to create a hole in the wall, and that's going to mean that his Fire Lancers are going to be able to have an absolute field day right now. Viper is on the ropes, Fitzbro. This is
getting through
this is wild.
All that walling, he thought he was safe, but in come the Fire Lancers.
Yeah, it's a classic play, the Fire Lancers. Leenock slowly falling back. There's plenty of archers back here. A few spears are going to be able to try and hold this up, but the horsemen are going to be able to get in on top. And we'll take a look down towards the base of Viper. He's going to be managing to get inside there. He needs to be careful. He's down, Leenock down to 109 villagers, Viper on 119, so Leenock managing to even it out a little bit. Chemistry coming through for Viper, but not if Leenock's got anything to say about it as he begins to siege down the university. Unfortunately, it looks like his tolerance for books is going to have to wait for another day because unfortunately, the spears are going to be able to clean it up. Now back towards the base of Viper up towards the north. 5 Bombards, 4 Bombards coming out for Leenock. He's going to be able to siege through this stuff absolutely insanely fast. This is ridiculous how quickly he's going to be going through it. Leenock, by the same token, let's have a look at his infrastructure. He's got 13 infrastructure buildings or military buildings. He's just pumping resources out right now. He just doesn't even care. He's just, all he cares about is just getting out units. He's trying to get down to the front line. He's trying his hardest. Leenock, he looks like he's got Viper here on the ropes.
Yeah, honestly, I thought this was looking really to be in Viper's favor with all this raiding he's been doing, but it looks like just those late game technologies have kicked in for China, and kind of like I said earlier in the game, I don't think you want to be fighting against China late game in any scenario with most civilizations because they are just so strong. Those Bombards aren't just any Bombards. Those are clock tower Bombards with that extra HP. You see him trying to get some Springals to take care of them, but they are just shredding through his buildings.
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult to deal with this Chinese late game composition. You hear those Nesta Bees going off in the distance as well. Viper trying his best to clean these up. Plenty of Springalds down here for Viper. He's got 5 of them. But keep in mind, they're going to have the same range as the Bombards, and the Bombard's going to be able to deal very effectively with them. Viper managing to take out one of those Bombards. A single one still remains. Ideally, Leenock needs to pull villagers out to be able to heal up through that damage. And you can see Viper trying his best to be able to deal with the siege of his opponent. But unfortunately, the Nesta Bees are going to be able to remain supreme. Plenty of knights now starting to begin building up for Viper. It looks like he may have weathered the storm as his opponent now is in a bit of a difficult spot because the majority of the Fire Lancers here for his opponent have been killed. But now we've got Royal Knights that have just been fallen down by the reinforcing Fire Lancers, and Viper once again looks like he might be getting pushed towards his limits and having an incredibly difficult game.
Yeah, I think this China siege is going to slowly keep pushing up through his front line of buildings here, and those archers dealing with any spearmen, and spearmen are his best bet for dealing with the fire lancers. Do you know what these fire lancers remind me of from Age of Empires 3?
Operniks.
That, but you know me. These remind me of the Tashunki or the
right.
Takuma soldiers, the dog soldiers. They just like only a few of those do so much siege.
Yeah, they do a lot of siege, don't they? But yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, like the thing that's crazy for me. I mean, Leenox managed to get up to 125 villagers. At the moment, Viper is sitting on 127, so the economies have evened up. But like Viper right now, he's in a bit of a hole. He's on 154 population. Leenox on 180, and Leenox going to continue funneling troops in at this point. Viper is definitely, he's been on the ropes for the last few minutes, but at this point in particular, it really seems like Viper has got absolutely nothing that he can do against this Chinese composition coming out from Leenox. This is absolute insanity.
Yeah, he's holding on here, but I don't know. It's really looking good for China. He's just slowly running through, and I think he's just going to keep sending waves and waves of fire lancers and slowly picking things off.
Yeah, take a look over toward the east side of the map here. Leenox going to be running in with a few fire lancers, finding all of these villagers out here. He's going to be turning around and fighting up against the Royal Knights, but it looks like he's doing a huge amount of damage. Now Viper continuing to struggle up against these clock tower bombards that are pushing in and getting in close to point blank College of Artillery. It looks like the bombard has decided to finally attend school. That raid over towards the east does manage to get cleaned up, or at least chased away back towards the center of Viper's base. But those elite Royal Knights for Viper, they do not look elite at this point in time. I mean, now we've got the hand cannoneers also coming out for Leenox. Bombard going to be, or Royal Cannon rather, going to be coming out for Viper here. So I think that's the first Royal unit we've seen of the game, other than the Royal Knights, of course. But yeah,
melting so fast. I mean, just to kill
ludicrous.
one Bombard. I mean, I don't know how he's going to get the momentum to break through this line. He keeps spamming Knights. I mean, what's the gold situation right now? He's still got the veins in the top right. Looks like for Viper. Maybe does his House of Commerce have a bunch of res stocked up? Just wondering if he's going to eventually just run out of resources. Yeah,
he's only got 220 gold in the guild hall at the moment. But Viper obviously has a little bit of an advantage at the moment. He's sitting on slightly higher gold. If we were to compare the relics at this point in time, so you can see that Viper's monastery, if we can find it, I'm going to try my best to try and find it. Jeez Louise, it's a bit of a maze in here. He's got 3 relics inside it. He's also got a sacred site up towards the north, but he is pushing back on this front. For the first time, Viper is going to actually be pushing back for the first time, really, in the last, what has it been, 7 or 8 minutes. I mean, this push has just been relentless from Leenox, but he's run out of gold. I mean, both players at this point are running out of gold, so we've got 400 gold a minute going to be trickling in for Viper. Let's take a look at the neutral market. So we've got the trading posts, rather, that sit in the middle. Doesn't look like either player has begun trading there at this point. Actually, I take that back. Leenox has started trading. He's got double markets out, but it's not the most efficient of markets, we'll say that much. They are sitting pretty darn close to it.
Do you see that Leenox is sitting at a -0 stone? I'm not sure what value that is, but that might break the internet.
Yeah, he actually is too. Yeah, -0 stone a minute. I don't even know. How do you even achieve that? Minus 1 stone. I mean, because when you heal buildings, even if they cost stone, it costs wood. It's a strange mechanic, but Viper now going to be big in pushing up with the elite Royal Knights now. Falls back with that one, yeah, very curious decision at this stage. But now Viper going to be looking to expand out. We see those reinforcing stables on the front line here. And the Keep going to be applying a little bit of pressure, but at the same time, the Fire Lancers really just ignore it as they continue to siege through that. And Viper going to be fighting mono-y-mono. You can see all on the back line, just all of the hand cannoneers fighting it out. The veteran spear, these are only veteran spearmen. These are not actually elite spearmen. So that's one thing to note. And
they keep going down on those Fire Lancers very quickly.
But Mangonel's actually coming out now for Viper, so such a great mix of units. And I'm so glad that Springald's got changed, because now we can really see like how crazy these compositions get, and you know, just how many different units get made. You've got elite Royal Knights out here with the elite Archers, the Mangonels, the Springald's coming out. It's just ludicrous. And then the elite Spearmen.
Keep held on, just barely. It held on with his villagers repairing. I thought for sure those Fire Lancers would take it out, but this is a good hold. This is the first lull in the action we might have seen for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's been absolutely ludicrous. I think from this point, the question is, how do players go about getting gold? What's their go-to? So obviously, you know, market trading is one thing. You got the guild hall, you got the relics, you got the sacred sites, but Viper making a little bit of a mistake here, walking in blindly against his enemy. Going to be losing quite a few units there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elite royal knights are going to be going down. Viper not really paying attention. Also going to be losing mangonels as well. First mangonel going to be going down. Second mangonel under fire right now. He's got to be doing his best. The villagers are getting in on top of it. They managed to keep it alive as the mangonel does drop down and still keeps it alive. Keep in mind, this is such an expensive unit at this stage in the game. No player has got access to gold. I mean, you can see he's got 400 gold a minute right now, Viper. Yeah. Compare that. Actually, Leenock has found a gold mine. Leenock, where'd you get that gold mine from? Where were you hiding that, my friend? He's got a full gold vein up towards the north. Look at that thing. That's gonna win him the game. That wins him the game for sure.
Yeah, Viper's low on gold, and so if he loses his army here, he's going to struggle to repop, at least with the same composition. He does have archers that cost food and wood, but those mangonels just going down so easily to those fire lancers.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, his knights are fighting head-on with spears right now. They're doing okay, but, you know, Leenock might be able just to starve him out here. We'll have to see after this fight what happens next.
Yeah, it seems like it might be the case. These hand cannoneers are really going to be the difference in these fights. And you can see Leenock, with his economy now, is just going to be in a great position. You can, we take a look at the production that he's got. He's got huge amounts of production behind this. 20 military production out for him at the moment. Has also got these traders out, but keep in mind, they're not going to be doing particularly well. I mean, 31 gold, it's not bad. It could be worse. It could be 30 gold or 29 gold, but yeah, it's not terrible. It's not terrible.
Are you sure that Leenock did not ship that gold from the home city? I did not see that back there earlier. He might have shipped that wagon.
Where did he get this gold mine from? I have literally got no clue. I mean, Viper pushed up here earlier with the battering rams. I don't remember seeing it. Like, it's literally come out of nowhere, didn't it? Like, I mean, we'll have to go back. We'll have to check the replay. It might be
I think it was a prospector wagon.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. But he's actually going to be going up to the Ming Dynasty. So, actually, I think it's the Ming Dynasty. I'm going to have to double check. It could be the Song Dynasty. I can't see. I'm trying to spot where that landmark is going up. He's got a landmark that's going up, Fitz. See if you can spot it. It's the Imperial Academy, so he's going up to the Song Dynasty. So he's going to be looking to go into Choku Nu. Not going to be going into...
I guess so when you're out of gold, maybe that's a good late game option, but...
Yeah,
it's going to get interesting. Is there anyone making a market or going for some trade routes?
Yeah, Leenock's got a couple. He's got two markets. He does have that trade route going, but it's as I mentioned before, it's not the most efficient. It's only making 25 gold off some of these, 31 gold off the other ones as well. So he could be looking to. He could extend it much further down down towards the south side here, but. Yeah, a bit of a difficult spot for him. We'll check in with Viper, see how he's doing. So he's still yet to add in that trade route, unfortunately. It does look like he has actually added a market in, though, slowly but steadily. 64 gold going to be coming in a pot for him, so not too bad. But now Wall's going to be coming up as well for Leenock. And we are now heading into a stage of the game, Fitz, where we may be camping up a little bit.
I'm gonna have to go grab a beer to make it to the end of this game. I was gonna ask you, what do you in the super late game? What's the comp of traders to villagers you have to have if you're getting gold completely from trading? What's the kind of composition you think that you'd like to see, or do you have any opinions on that?
I don't know. I'm more of a kind of, I just make villages until I don't need them anymore, and then I just delete them if I don't need them. And it's like,
I don't know if there's a scientific ratio. Usually it's like if I'm making traders, it's like, oh shit, I just ran out of gold.
Yeah, so I think there's definitely like a window, and you've got to kind of spot that it is happening. But we've got ourselves a little bit of a battle in the middle right here. As we've got Viper doing his best to actually push back the fire lances of his opponent. You know what I'd love to see here, Fitz? I'd love to see some grenadiers coming out, but I don't know whether we're going to see it. We'll check on Leenock and see whether he's gone for that Ming Dynasty. I don't think he has just yet. Still going to be sitting in that Song Dynasty. He was in Yuan just for a short amount of time, but he's going to be able to begin applying pressure to the front. Springle's actually coming out here. He's got to be careful. He's going to be losing this bombard if he's not careful. Manages to get the shots off, but it does get safely in behind that wall.
I love the clock tower bombard just tanking like 6 or 7 Springle shots, and he's still got 8 health to spare.
Well, that's part of the reason why it's so strong, and this is part of my theory as to why bombards, the Chinese bombards in particular, are so strong. You thought the extra 2 range was strong. Yeah, sure, it's strong. But then throw into account the fact that these guys also shoot faster because they have a reduced reload time. And then on top of that, an extra 50% health. So it means in that situation where you've got those Springalds that try and take out that Bombard, it survives. So it's basically a free Bombard because you just go back and heal it up again. It costs what? 20 wood, 30 wood? It's barely nothing. It's ridiculous how strong they are.
I just looked at the Sacred Sites in the bottom left. Leenox got 2 of them, and he's getting close to this other one. That could be helping him with his gold situation, of course, but I almost wonder, are they going to try to go for some crazy Sacred Site defense situation here?
Yeah, it could be it. I mean, Leenock could potentially come up for this Sacred Site. He's going to have to contest with the Springalds of his opponent, but I mean, 4 Bombards is more than enough. He just needs to bring 10, 15 villagers up here, and he's going to be able to take them out, and we now see that. So Viper going to be in a difficult spot. You know, when it comes to late game China compositions, my favorite composition is Bombards plus villagers. Like, there's nothing better than Bombards and villagers.
Yeah.
It's impossible to beat. And I'm not even kidding when I say, like, you get 20 Bombards out, you're fine. You're having a great day.
And for better or for worse, with the Springalds being nerfed and people not making a million of them anymore, Bombards are even more powerful because you don't just have 20 Springalds in your back pocket ready to snipe them. I mean, you'll likely have lower Springald numbers than before.
Yeah, that's a great point. I remember a lot of games I was playing against civilizations like the Rus, where it would be Springalds as the default. And so it makes it very difficult going into a game. And now we've got, look at this, Sacred Site getting neutralized up here towards the north. Leenock may potentially be going for that Sacred Site victory. It's a slow, but it's a steady race. And now it looks like Viper might actually be pushing out towards Leenock's base. We'll check and see exactly what he goes for. You can see Leenock heading behind that gate. He's trying his best to get behind there. He's got to be careful. Both of the Bombards do manage to survive, but we've got a 5th Bombard now coming in and reinforcing, but at the same time we hear attack alarms going off all over the map, it seems, as Viper is trying his best to hold on. Leenock, you got to ask the question, where are his military numbers right now?
Yeah, well,
what is going on for Leenock?
I could just feel when those knights were charging at that one wall segment, the AoE 2 fans screaming that they can't go through the gate.
But look at the Bombards. He looks like he's actually playing a bit of Ring Around the Rosie right now.
They're still alive. Like, how are those Bombards alive right now?
I've got no clue, and I'm even more clueless about the fact of, like, where is Leenock's army, and what is he doing, and why isn't over here on his 5,000 resources of Bombards that he's got set up? Looks like they're actually going to make it through. No, the Bombards do go down.
Gosh,
he's got
disgusting.
3 more that remain. So
there's the spears.
The spears finally coming to back it up, but Leenock once again making that mistake of committing too many units over towards that raid. He needs to get some sort of castles or something up over on that opposite side of the map just so he can defend and hold on a little bit stronger. But now more Bombards are continuing to roll out for him. At the same time, those reinforcements, you can see the trash reinforcements coming in. Plenty to go for right here, but still only veteran spearmen. Still only veteran spearmen.
I almost thought he was AFK for a second there during that fight. Like, maybe he had to go answer the door. I mean, we're almost at an hour-long match. I played a game that was over an hour earlier, and I, no joke, ran downstairs and basted a ham I had in the oven while still playing. And came back and won.
That's what you call an alpha move right there. But speaking of alpha moves, look at Leenock. He's pushed up. He's found like a couple of Bombards in the back out there. He's just brought up another 4 of them, and now going to continue pushing down his opponent with veteran spearmen up against the Elite Royal Knights. Viper going to be holding on here. He's sitting at 738 gold a minute, but I don't think it's going to be enough because he's down to 135 population. Leenock is looking incredible right now, Fitz. I think this might be a good game.
Yeah, especially with those all those hand cannoneers coming up. I mean, those are just going to wipe out any knights that are remaining or men-arms, which are just more and more expensive as the gold becomes more and more scarce.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. The Bombards on the back line are just really, for me, what's going to be sealing this deal. They're going to be able to push through with such... what's the word that I'm looking for? Like, they're just able to mow down anything that even comes their way. So you can see, like, we've got just a trickle of knights coming out now, but he's going to be able to turn around and focus them down, and you watch him, he'll be able to turn this down. And now we've actually Viper pulling villagers at this point, trying to take down these Bombards. You can see just how dire the situation is getting for him. So many outposts as well coming down for Leenock, and at the same time we've got villagers getting pulled for him. You can see him healing up all of these Bombards and just preventing them from going down. He says, you know what, you want to kill him with villagers? Go for it. I'm going to heal him with villagers. And both players looking incredibly strong at this point in time. I can't believe it. I mean, Leenock is ahead on score by about 2,000, but realistically, when it would come to the population, you got 147 against 181. Both players fighting for their lives at this point in time, and still somehow managing for Viper to hold on with his trash army.
They like are really determined to fight at this one specific location. Like there isn't a choke here necessarily, other than that wall. Like what's going on mid-map or down south that they just like want to come exactly across here every time.
It's a gentleman's agreement, Fitz. It's a gentleman's agreement. But Bombards, like I mentioned earlier, my favorite late game composition, Bombards and Villagers. You can see why that is. Like there's 7 Bombards in here. What can you do to stop them? What can you do to stop them? It's ludicrous.
Well, not to mention that like they still are sniping units. You know,
yeah, and that's exactly it. They one-shot units. It's like they one-shot the archers, they one-shot the spears. They're killing everything. Oh, by the way, I like Viper. He's actually rallied a couple of spears up on top of his stone wall just for defensive purposes.
Now, what do you think? So they nerfed Springall damage to units. Do you think Bombards is like that's something that's necessary for them balance-wise, or is it? I mean, it is a big cannon that's hitting you. Like it should deal some damage. Like, what do you think about the amount of damage Bombards do versus infantry and cav?
Yeah, I'd love to see a few more multipliers get into the mix. So reduce that main number down, and then subsequently increase the multipliers. So you can see that they've got that extra 340 versus buildings. Give them that 340 versus buildings, but give them an extra 200 versus ships, an extra, 100 versus siege or something like that, and then just reduce the main cannon damage down. It's going to make it a lot easier. But Leenock getting distracted by the raid. So one thing that I note with Leenock that happens a lot, if he gets raided, he will overreact. He sends a lot of units to go and chase that down. And there's a single elite horseman that is sieging a market, and he has got 17 veteran spears, 13 archers, and 11 hand cannoneers going to deal with that. So it's like
Viper's and Viper loves to do these raids a little bit everywhere, and maybe that's what we saw earlier when we were like, where's his spears? I think this is exactly what was happening.
Yeah, and take a look in the middle of the map. Leenock, just earlier where they were fighting over this choke point, has dropped down a castle, but Viper has said, well, hold on a minute, I'm going to raid you with a single horseman and convince all of your army to evacuate the dance floor, and whilst you're doing that, I'm just going to go take it down. And that's exactly what he does. By the same token, the main raid that's actually happening towards the back of the base, where Leenock is losing a significant amount of villagers, he is not even addressing that at the moment, it seems. So all of those villagers did go down. He's down to 107 villagers at the moment. Viper sitting on 105, so the villager count is quite even. Both players stacking up a significant amount of food. So look, I'm going to be honest with you, Fitz. If there is a famine in the world, these guys are going to be able to feed plenty of people. Because, I mean, 18,000 food for Leenock, 9,000 food for Viper. He's doing incredibly well.
I mean, let's wait for a second while there's a little bit of a lull here. This has been 50 minutes of action, and even right now, when we thought Viper was starting to get down, this is looking like an almost even game here again. I still would give it. I feel like China is ahead, but this has been an absolutely incredible match between these two players, and there might be more action ahead of us here.
I suspect you might be right, because Viper actually, he's coming on not just onto the traders, but onto the markets. If he takes those out, those traders are going to be forced to go idle, and Viper really just showing his prowess in the late game. The fact that Leenock was so far ahead of him, and now Viper is going to continue to be struggling. I feel like at this point, Leenock should just be rushing for the landmarks. You just go rush the landmarks down, you could probably just win the game.
With
that
many bombards, he could just easily push that. And if your markets both die, what's the easiest way to... Is there an easy way to select all of your traders as they're like spread out across the map?
I don't think so, no. You just got to go and you got to shift-click them in. Yeah, Viper. I mean, Viper at the moment looking pretty decent with the cleanup. No men-at-arms coming out for either player, which is quite curious in this matchup. You would have thought the men-at-arms or Palace Guards would have played a little bit more of a significant role, but it's not the case. Leenock at the moment sitting on 677 gold a minute. Viper, by the same token, is sitting on 624. So gold income about the same, but Viper, no wood at the moment. You can see how far away he's long-distance mining down towards the south of the map. But yeah, just not a lot of wood. And I think that's actually quite not ironic is the word. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but it speaks a lot about this game, where you literally have players fighting that neck and neck, where they've exhausted all the gold on the map. Now they're exhausting all of the wood on the map. And it's like, what do they even have left?
They've got farms and they've got Moxie.
Moxie, I actually Googled that word. I heard you mention it on stream the other day. I'm like, what is this word that Fitz is on about, Moxie? But yeah, one of the things to note, Viper does have trade going pretty well for him, honestly, down the back of his base. So
yeah,
he's
I
got
like that location.
Yeah, he's got 12 traders out. He's slowly adding traders in. He's going to get a 13th one out. He's got 2 more in queue. I mean, as long as the game continues going on, he's going to continue adding in more of those and doing better and better. But now towards the center of the map, we've got attacks happening from all angles, it seems. The Bombards are beginning to push in as well. Viper attacking towards the back line, continuing to focus down these units. We've got reinforcements towards the front. Leenock actually sitting with 6,000 wood in the bank at the moment. So if you want to make a raft, you want to make anything out of wood, you contact Leenock. He's going to be able to help you out. A couple of elite archers in here as well, doing a little bit of damage. But Sacred Site was going to get captured over by Leenock, but it looks like it has been neutralized, at least for this point in time, by Viper. This is an incredible game, Fitz.
I'm surprised Leenock hasn't just gone for the throat with all those bombards. I mean, he's got a massive bombards just trolling down there, and they could just swoop on in, and yet they're going back home. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is he knows where all the landmarks are. He's had...
They're close.
Like, they're very close together. If you bring all those bombards into the College of Artillery, they can shoot all 3 of the remaining landmarks. So
he could even stack villagers on it, healing them while they're just, like, diving the landmarks.
Yes,
and he's going to pull all those units back towards them.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, it's probably not something he can commit to. There's Springald's getting in the mix as well. He's got to be careful. If he's not paying attention, he's going to be losing these bombards. They are now falling back. He needs to bring the villagers over to heal them. You see the villagers actually coming, but it looks like that one bombard is probably going to be going down. So managing to take out one of them. Keep in mind, these bombards are expensive. They're 1,000 resources per bombard. They made up as 600 gold. A pop on each one of these, so you want to be keeping them alive. Villagers trying their best to heal up the bombards. You can see the extra heals going through on them. Look at watch the health as it manages to.
How many bombards has he lost? 1?
Yeah, he's lost 1 bombard so far.
You can't even see him, and there's so much smoke in there.
I'm going to try and tactically move the camera so that we can actually see through. Bombard's managing to escape, but keep in mind they don't have that Yuan dynasty anymore because he didn't hit the initial dynasty, didn't come, the initial Song dynasty never came out, so he had to go back for it, and then he dropped it down, and subsequently he lost the Yuan dynasty bonus. So he loses that movement speed bonus.
Yeah. I wonder if he even knows that. I don't think I even know that. I haven't played a ton of China.
Yeah, so you don't lose access, well, you lose access to everything from the dynasty, but you regain the ability to make the units from the Spirit Way, wherever that Spirit Way is, I think up towards the north. But yeah, it is, yeah,
interesting.
You lose all the other bonuses, so you wouldn't be able to make the granaries anymore, and you wouldn't be able to get that movement speed bonus, unfortunately. But
has he even been making his archers? Like, has he had a ton of them?
No, he hasn't. I don't think we've seen a single one come out from him all game yet. So yeah, I mean, it'd be great. They're quite decent in the late game, so it'd be good to see him have them out. But yeah, now Viper probably going to be getting raided down here. You can actually see there's plenty of units behind. If we do a quick stock take. 85 villages for Leenock, 101 villages for Viper, but Viper's military population is significantly lower than his opponent. And look at the units beginning to trickle out across the map. So much infrastructure here for Leenock. He's got 30 military production buildings at this stage.
You know, this is usually the point of the game, the hour mark, where I'm usually looking at, like, okay, who's going to build a wonder? But no one has a ton of res. Like, this has been a dirty back-and-forth fight. Here we go, a significant battle inside Viper's base here. But it just hasn't seemed like it's gone in any person's direction here for some time. Yeah,
it's been absolutely ludicrous. These guys are just fighting to the, tooth and nail, really demonstrating how good each other are. And I think you just got to walk away from this game and say, you know what? I think both players have equally earned it at this stage. If either one... Oh, it looks like Viper has tapped out. Viper has tapped out 100%. Oh. Match is complete. There you go. Wow. At the 57-minute mark, Fitz, Viper has thrown in the towel.
Maybe this just means you never have to actually kill a landmark. I thought at some point those bombards were going to roll in and start sniping something, but what an absolutely epic game.
Look, I will take that game any day over a Mongol Mirror. I'll tell you that much, Fitz. But look, if you guys are watching this one on YouTube, make sure you check out Fitzbro. I'm going to leave a link in the description over to his YouTube. He's a YouTuber as well. He does a lot of caster games like the one that we just did. So if you're interested in seeing more of that, make sure you check him out. In addition to that, make sure you guys check out the EGC TV Discord. There's plenty of stuff that goes on in there, like these events. So if you're interested in seeing that, make sure you check out that Discord. But Fitzbro, thank you very much for joining me for this 1-hour Viper Watch cast. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.